New background, and you know what that means. New DLC. Also new symbol. Very cool. And thanks to Paradox for giving me the opportunity to get early access and sponsoring this video, which I thought I used for the totally unique decision that no other HOI4 channel will do to play the Japanese Empire and see what changed there. And you also voted for that, so that's on you. And if you want to get the DLC for yourself, feel free to use my creator code in the Paradox store, meaning I get a nice cut and Paradox knows to send you. And if you never played HOI4 so far, the game is free on Steam from the 20th to the 24th of November. So if you ever wanted to try it, check it out. And the DLC comes out on the 20th. So, today. Anyways, because I thought it would be fun to learn this Focustree together, we are gonna do a bit of a blind playthrough today. Because, yeah, I've only played a little bit of the DLC so far. So I know some of the changes, but a lot of it is still very new to me. Also, I should say this is an early version. But yeah, a bit of a blind playthrough with RMN, historical, and go. First and foremost, you all wanna see it, the new Focustree. It is big. And we also have this over here now, which we'll talk about in a bit. This is kind of important, but at the same time, you can also ignore it a little bit. So, yeah. For the beginning, we just have to ask ourselves the question, do we want to go military factories? Because we get a lot of those over here quite fast. That's 2 mils in 35 days. That's super good. Or do we want to go down industry? And because I already played a little bit, I know that this choice is quite important because if you want to get this modifier over here, for which we need the civic faction, we have to be fast. Because the path we are going down today is, yeah, we're kind of gonna not work with the civic faction a lot. While for the other path, it doesn't matter. For the rest, we can't do this yet. The main political focuses are locked until we have the February 26th incident, and you will never guess when that one will happen. But yeah, for now, it's industry or military. I'm gonna be honest, I will play a very aggressive Japan. So what I will try for the beginning is to really go down military. I gotta say, personally speaking, I like this modifier over here. Minus 10% consumer goods factory factor, together with the minus 5 over here, would already have the negative modifier over here, which is currently plus 30. And yeah, we have quite a bunch of negative modifiers. Of course we do. I mean, this is not a negative modifier. This is just the influence, but because everyone is not that influential yet, they are not good. This one is good, kinda. We don't really need war support at the moment, but I take it. And yeah, if you haven't noticed yet, we are not aligned now, and Mr. Hirohito's kinda not here, at least for now. I gotta be honest, a few seconds ago, I want to go down the mills, but talking about this really made me clicking this now, and it's only 70 days, versus here we gain even more consumer goods. This thing over here basically undoes this thing over here, and I think 5% construction speed is not that bad, for the whole reason that we're already at partial mobilization. By the way, there's coal now. Have I talked about this yet? There's coal now in the game. Coal. So yeah, I've convinced myself we're gonna go down the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. For the beginning, I will literally just spam mills. I feel like that's literally the best opener for an aggressive Japan. And for the rest, I just want to be quickish. So we actually have quite good tank research. Maybe we're going to do a few tanks. And the army stuff is fine. Even fighters, we're quite at the standard at the moment. Even though, of course, we have negative modifiers. We're going to fight China. I don't think we have to be scared about our air force. Any air force is better than what China has. Because they have basically no air force. And here, rumors of a military coup. You might be surprised to know, but this might be the February 26th incident. And this will kind of escalate our politics. But the important choices now is, do we want to save this guy over here for, I mean, decently traded modifiers? As I said, I like the consumer goods factory factor, but I don't really care about employing him. There's other good people. And this is also a very good leader, but we also have a lot of other people we can employ. So I'm not going to spend my political power on those two. I'm not going to say they're bad. I'm just going to say I don't want to pay political power twice for them. And if you don't protect them, they will disappear after this. Anyways, the incident has happened, and this allows you to choose your political path, which gives us 3 choices. Either we go democratic and say, hey, the military needs to be under control, they can't stop making uprisings all the time, or we give in to the demands and go back to an historical traditional Japan with a real monarchy. So this is the non-aligned path. Or what we're gonna do today, we go down the historical route and use this to really radicalize our government. So let's put an end to this farce, which completes the focus, purge the Godora faction, and allows us to go down to here. We should do this focus as soon as possible because it starts a mission that we need to go further down here. The cool thing is, the China war is not in the political path anymore, at least not directly. The entire China war and other theaters are now on this side, which is now shared between the non-aligned, which would have been here on the left, and the more radical Focustree. So it doesn't matter now if you go non-aligned or fascists, you can do all of these focuses with both, which I like. I hated that non-aligned was so streamlined in the old Japanese Focustree, and seeing more of wide choices here feels very good. What has not changed as Japan is that we can industrialize really quick. You look at our industry now, and we've already gained 2 civs, not a lot, but over here we get way more, and these focuses right now take 70 days. But if you look a bit down, you see if you finish a certain focus, we cut that in half. So we're not gonna do these focuses here until we do this focus over here, which cuts their time in half, plus is also a positive modifier for our industry. We will lose some political power, but the problem we will not have is political power. A focus I like less is the agency over here, because it's a short focus, but it's so far down that I'd rather just do it myself now, so I have the agency and can start meddling in China, then do it later. On the other side, you don't need it as early anymore, but I would like to end the China war fairly quick, which you absolutely can do now, by the way, if you play your cards right. So yeah, I'm gonna go agency quick. Anyways, let's go down the political path. Stability, some ideology support, new leader for the non-aligned party, the civic faction becomes reduced in power, so subdued, and the civilian government will hate us, starting a bit of a breaking point. We need that breaking point. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about with we can only do this focus now, because after you do this focus, you can't do this focus anymore, because your civilian government is super weakened. The upside now is that we might have worse modifiers for building speed, but we only have 15% consumer goods factory factor, which, yeah, I like that modifier to be halved. Gives us back more of our civs. By the way, there is coal. There's coal now, look. We have coal. Also very interesting, demands. When factions become influential, they will send you missions. Funnily enough, it's not like Italy, where it's absolutely bad not to do the mission. Like, if I don't do this mission here, I weaken the faction. And because it's an army faction mission, the navy becomes stronger when I fail. So this is a bit of a trade-off. The upside when you actually get it through and finish this mission, I get army experience and mastery bonus for 180 days. You might ask yourself, Florius, what the hell is mastery bonus? And I agree. I was very confused until I opened doctrines. Firstly, very good doctrine. Good choice, Japan. Gotta say, beautiful. You now have a different doctrine tree for everything but special forces. I'm gonna say with Grand Battle Plan, but here you have your loved and known normal doctrine paths, mobile warfare, superior firepower, mass assault, and Grand Battle Plan, giving you flat bonuses, so super nice, but then allowing you to specialize the different parts of the army. So your infantry could still be very mobile with Grand Battle Plan, so you don't need mobile warfare for that, or you go down assault infantry here, but have an armored spearhead for your tanks. They don't need to be infantry supported. So I like the choices of this. This is something I will very much shout out as good job, Paradox. I like the change. Now I add auto trade. I feel like doctrines you could forget very easily to do. I mean, if you watch my videos, half the time I just forget to do doctrines and fight an entire world war without clicking any doctrine. But with this path, it's way easier because you click it once and then you don't need to think about a certain time anymore. You just upgrade it by doing it. So if you fight a lot with infantry, we level through our infantry path super quick. Same with artillery, same with armored. And I tried this out. As I said, I did a small test run and I locked all of these things in and I didn't use tanks and everything was completely leveled up, just not tanks. So it really works in a way of you use your unit and it gets better. Cool change. Anyways, government. Do I want to do anything with the government? I actually think I want to do nothing with the current advisors. They're not as good. I mean, this guy's actually good, but I don't need him right now. I would say we go down and get a military guy and an air force guy, because I would like to get experience there. We could also get a navy guy, but I would like to have decisive battle than anything else. Which also reminds me, we have a special facility over here, but we have no points. You know what? I will research something in the navy, like passive sonar, to get that up a bit. And yeah, we have like not a good time researching armor right now, or air. Kinda have to fix that, but more about that when we get there. So, this is done. Activating this time over here, which we can shorten down by 70 days for 50 political power. I will do that. The faster this breaks down, the faster we can go down our political path. In the meantime, we can start doing China stuff, and there's some early stuff we can do, or finally do some military stuff. And I would say, let's start the military reforms. With the first focus already having a very cool modifier, we get the first strike principle applying to every nation we attack for 90 days, giving us amazing attack bonuses at the beginning of the war. And when they have capital ships, we even gain something against the navy for double the time, 180 days. Beautiful. That is something that plays into the mechanics of Japan without you needing to to go down that way, if that makes sense. And I would say over here, let's get the mills everywhere and maybe even the dockyards. You can also calm down Korea. You know what, just for no surprises, I will do that. I feel like this is just something so you kind of burn your command points at the beginning of the game so you don't have too much for the China war. But sure, Paradox, I'll do it. By the way, something I've not talked about at all is this over here. The Kuomintang army growing impatient. Basically our garrison in China, which is a little bit decentralized and not really on the short leash. They will do something stupid in 580 days, meaning they will start the war, but under utter chaos. And this is basically how we get dragged into the China war now, which you can speed up with this focus over here. The downside is that we don't profit from this modifier over here when this happens because it is so chaotic, but the upside is that we still will probably utterly destroy them. And we don't even need to do this focus. We can just wait, which is also a good strategy. There's two theories of thought here. Either you do it really early and start the war so they can prepare even less, but to be honest, we also unprepared, or you over-prepare and you might profit from a really fast war. But you also give China more time to consolidate. You see, they already puppeted one warlord and they will unify more and more. And you will see this really directly when we go to war. Talking about it, we just got the demands for the artillery, so we got the nice modifier from the army for a little bit. Is it useless right now? Yes, we can't really use army mastery yet, but I don't mind the army being more powerful right now. Later on, I will make the navy more powerful, so this is fine. For the route we're doing today, I try to balance both. I don't want to have a too powerful army, I don't want to have a too powerful navy, but of course for the China war, we will need a powerful army because, yeah, we could build 3 Yamamoto battleships, but that will not solve the supply problems in deeper China. And oh my god, I just saw that this is its own warlord, and at some point they will annex this. So if you're super quick, they might even not get that. Maybe that's a strat. Anyways, we got the 2 army bonuses. I will get the naval dockyards now because we have a lot of things kind of already in the row, and yeah, we can just finish that. We do need destroyers. If you watched my last video, you kind of know that. I mean, we don't need early submarines. Those are super bad, but yeah, we can finish building this. This is fine. I will not build 2 basic aircraft carriers. Thank you, game. And what I should do, and I just deleted, is do some air force. I will do something super cheap for the beginning, just a bit of gun, a nice company, perfect. And for cast the same, just a lot of bombs, enough engine to hold it up, auto upgrade. I'm gonna take this company because it gives more ground attack, and that's that. And I will put it all the way up in the queue because I want to actually see how my air force is doing and how much resources I need to import early game, because we do have none of those resources. We also have enough naval points now to go down the Yamato class battleship. Very good. But later on, I also want to try out some of the other stuff they added, like the supply ship and the maintenance ship, because I actually have no idea what it does. As I said, this is like a half-blind playthrough, especially for the Navy stuff. So I will go into that too. And you're probably interested how good it is, so let's find out together. I imagine this is more of multiplayer meta stuff, but I still want to try it out. So we're done over here. As I said, I will ignore Navy for now. We can do this while we're at war with China. We're also still waiting for this to break down in 70 days. Okay, 69. Nice. So the big question now is, do we go down China and do some shenanigans there? You know what? Let's go down China and do some shenanigans there. I will also reform my army. And yeah, we have bicycles from the get-go. No, we will not use them. What I will do is I will put 1 artillery to this army here, declare this the Supreme Army, because they are quite decent. And this will be my main pushing army. If they're out of the way, I will take as much of them out of here than possible. We'll make 1 army full of them and give them a good attack general. And those units will go to China. If you feel like those were all very specific clicks, you're right, they were. I want to try something funny in the early game, and you have to watch. I will also upgrade my guns because I want better guns. I will also start a compliance government in the background with high priority to operations. And yeah, that's all our trade gun and all our economy gun. Very cool. Also, the army faction makes demands, and the demand is probably make a bigger army. Yeah, they want a bigger army. And this time, they only gain a small amount of influence, meaning it's not enough to go to the next level. You can see this over here. I talked about this very quickly before. Here you see all the other factions. You see the civic faction is subdued, so they're not a problem anymore. We could endorse them to bring them to a higher level, but I don't want to pay 200 political power to do that. I think it's only this high because they're subdued, which is the lowest level, and getting them out of that is not easy. They have an influential army, which is good for the early game because it makes fighters and cast cheaper, artillery cheaper, and infantry and support equipment cheaper. That's everything we're building right now. That's literally what we need for China. So this strong in the early game is good. On the downside, all the ship projects are more expensive right now and cost more fuel. We do want to change that once we go to war with the USA. For now, this is less important. And the Saibatsus, our industrialists, yeah, they are... I don't really build civilian factories or infrastructure right now, so on paper they're pretty good modifiers. In reality, I don't really care. I will strengthen them later anyways when I go down the industrial focuses, but for now I don't care too much about them. The only downside is that it's more expensive to change the economic law, but I will do that later anyways, so it doesn't matter for now. So this is kind of still important to know, and you can min-max it, but you can also just ignore that. I mean, those are nice modifiers to help, but if you have a big industry and win in China, you will probably just have an easier time no matter what the modifier is. So yeah, this helps, but it can also be ignored if you're a new player and don't want to care about it. The only thing you do need to care about it really is for certain focuses. Like down here, you can either go down a balance approach, which I couldn't do right now because the army is stronger, a navy approach, which I also can't do right now, or an army approach, which I could do right now. So there's certain focuses that need certain strength of certain powers, but for now, it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's do this focus over here for puppeting Mengjing, because they are not puppeted. They're actually free at the beginning. How rude. So, little conflict over here. Yeah, there's way more warlords now. Gotta say, it is cool. We also finished our focus, so will they join us? They will. I mean, we're playing on historical, so they kind of always will. And with that finished, what we could do right now is do a quick offensive to take over Shaanxi, which you have to do super quick. We get a very harsh time limit to do that offensive. And if we lose, we just get to keep the territory be fully occupied, which might sound cool, but to be fair, holding the desert tiles here in the China war is horrible. And to really capitulate them, you need to take like every tile. So it's good to weaken them early on. I might do this, but I also want to prepare my army more before I do this. So what I will actually do now is reform the army. And yeah, there's two focuses. There's rely on infantry, which you should always do. You are an infantry-based nation, but if you want to be just a based nation, you're gonna go down the tank reforms. And we're gonna go down the tank reforms. Let's go. We are not infantry-based. We are just based. And yeah, we also got the cabinet collapse. Very cool. We lose political power. And with this focus done, I want to go down over here, but we shouldn't. What we should do right now is fix our government. And there we have two paths. Either we go down over here, revive the civic faction a bit, and go full anti-communism, helping China to defeat communism. Boring. Or we go down, I guess this is the historical route, getting a military prime minister and preparing for a larger conflict next to us. It is a very quick focus. It gets rid of the negative modifier we have right now, which is super bad to have for a long time because it loses us weekly stability. That you don't want. And with that focus done, I would say we rush down to here so we can do industrial focuses and get a research slot, which I personally like a lot. And yes, we have a new prime minister. We can also take this guy now for less consumer goods factory factor, and I will do that. And yeah, we're really getting up there with 25 now. It's not amazing, but for what we started with, it's still super quick without any conquest. And with that focus done, let's do National Spiritual Mobilization Movement for a better modifier for the Showa statism spirit. Plus, we unlock some decisions that are okay. They're not life-changing, but if you have the political power to spare, they're nice modifiers. And with that also done, let's form the Central Economic Council for one civilian factory. That is okay. And a nice modifier for a year. I'll take that. Plus, we've also completed the first compliance government in China with 45%. That is pretty good. And I'm also not sure if I want to do a second one, because they are quite expensive, and we don't need to compliance government anymore. I don't need to get this up to 80. You will see what I mean with that in a second, but we mostly do this to capitulate them faster. Also cool choice down here. We have 50 army experience, meaning we can't really afford a doctrine. What we could afford are bad doctrine paths, or at least worse. Great war infantry for some bonuses, irregulars. If you were a communist people's militia, I like that. There's like cheaper choices here, but it would at least mean that we can go down these paths right now. What I want to do now is guide Dissibatsus to make the focuses cheaper. It costs us a bit of political power, but also fixes a bit the early industrialization efforts, which is our worst modifier. So this is good to change. And yeah, the army is making a lot of demands right now. Guys, please chill. Next focus is also done. Before I forget again, I will go down this here to launch a fast campaign against this nation here with my 15 with infantry. They're not super good, but I think they could get this job done. And that's enough for me. I will also get myself, because I have him now, a silent workhorse, giving me good amount of political power now. Very nice. Also brought my air force over to do some air force stuff. Not a big air force, but should be enough to do some damage. We're missing rubber. A paradox, especially after my EO5 addiction. Auto trade when, please? I would really wish for some auto trading. That would be so good. If we could create an auto trade lobby for HOI4, that would be great. So So, focus is done. We started a war. Let me use this time to just get a research slot really quick. What we need to do now is be super quick. We have 56 days to finish this war. As I said, really not a lot of time. And they will probably have more army than what they have right now. We'll do a force attack. My field marshal, I guess I can give him organized. But this is also some really good early army experience. We can also use our air force a little bit. Or maybe not. Yeah, I think it's doing nothing right now. They're doing a last stand, which should help them a little bit, but also not too much. If it was an actual last stand, they just lost the entire army there because they ran out of equipment. No, they didn't. I think they just retreated. The army experience we gain over here, though, is amazing. Okay, I gotta say, we might actually get this. We got everything but one province. Yeah, very cool. I fed it to my puppet. Have fun, puppet. I do get 65% of the mill, so yeah, I guess it's a nice early consolidation. Anyways, with that proven that our army has quite a punch, and us not needing to fight too much in the mountains, apparently, because we just conquered them. Nice. We also have the research slot in the bag. I would say let's get some industry. And I gotta say, it's already October 37, so let's create our own faction and then go into China. I think we are, generally speaking, very close to being ready. All I need is a supply hub working down here, for which I just really quick build a railway, as they are connected, just not through our nation. And with that ready, let's go in. Also build a super heavy battleship, which we can't build yet because we're still stuck in a treaty and we need a bit more world tension to leave. But I think we can leave very soon. Also, let's get assault infantry for soft attack bonuses, for artillery, which we do use a lot, and locking that in, giving us more and more bonuses for using artillery. Let's do that. I will also get myself the Grand Battle Plan Expert, giving me faster progress in army doctrines and making the military stronger, which for now could actually be good. Yeah, for now they're dominating. Yeah, thanks game. So this is about to time out too, but we were a bit quicker. I might have just not need to do that focus. This should start this, giving us an unplanned offensive. We gain the surprise invasion modifier. For a little bit worse situation for a while, but overall speaking, we should have this. And yeah, you might have noticed there's some quite new situations over here. China's already consolidated a bit. You see a lot of warlords have disappeared over there. Plus, they don't control Beijing at the beginning, so this first push is actually, you could say, free now. This is very much just a free push. And very important now, China seems to annex now every warlord you take over. So we just took the capital of this warlord and it's now part of China. I've not played the Chinese Focustree yet, and I think that will be my next video. Probably sooner than you expect. I try to make these early DLCs videos very quickly after each other, mostly as an apology that I've been gone for a while, but also because I want you to kind of choose if you're interested in a DLC and want to get it. And if you want to get it, there's a cool code you can use, you know. Gotta say, so far the war is going pretty well. I do like the new feel of fighting China in terms that they have a lot of troops, but saying that all of the troops are prepared would just be a lie. They're super unprepared and they're like halfly equipped units, but they have a lot of it, meaning they can actually be super annoying in holding your entire offense. To be fair, this is how this should feel like. I imagine that's how the war was. Yeah, I guess that's cool. Also, funnily enough, compared to before, there is more supply hubs in China now and more railways. Like, this didn't exist before, this port didn't exist before. I think even this airport over here is new, which on the one side makes it easier for me to invade and take over these supply hubs. On the other side, I remember playing China, it was super painful to have supply in your own nation because there was like no supply hubs everywhere. So I gotta say, yeah, I like this. Also, because we got this nation over here, they're fighting with a lot of units against a very limited garrison and it's just losing everything while we have supply. So yeah, Florius inserts this meme of the one guy screaming loud and the other guy just being chill. That's the front line here. We're just vibing over the river and they are throwing everything against us. Okay, while the war is going on, I'm just doing the industrial focuses for some extra civs, which only are half time now. Very nice. The war is going forward quite nicely. Gotta say, my military is still not the greatest, and my tanks are not on the battlefield. Maybe I should actually build some tank units. But overall speaking, I have high supply. I can build a lot of units. I have good manpower, and I have, for now, time on my side. Nice encirclement over here, though, and with that a bit secured, and the supply up in our hands, plus our first doctrines finished. Very nice bonus. I'll be consolidating a bit of the front line, but I will also try a very bold encirclement, I think you could call it. We can also do this focus over here, but I think I would rather go down this quick focus over here and then actually fix my army, because my army is still a bit bad. Gotta say that, it's still kind of horrible. We can also abandon the naval treaty, which I will do right now. And this modifier over here is also super nice, so let's get that. Plus 2 mils. Yeah, sure. I will also try the support ships now, because I don't know what they do. And we want to do navy later. Talking about navy later, which just dropped out of the treaty, which means we should instantly build our Yamato battleship. And cause building one would be boring, let's build 3. We also lost the modifier surprise invasion, so this should all become a bit easier in a second. And if you could get this here, that would be great. And yeah, we got the encirclement. That is a huge encirclement. Cost me some time, but I think after this, plus new units we can deploy now, the rest of this invasion will become easy. And I know they might not care about the units, but they will very much care about the equipment they lost there. So goodbye, Chinese. I probably made some losses here because pushing through the mountain was horrible. Yeah, we had 100,000, but they are at 400k. I thought it would be way more. I feel bad about myself now. Anyways, let's push. Anyway, we're kind of overrunning them. I'm not even lying. This is a bit crazy. Right now, the army wants more tanks. I can't really give that. And I might actually not do that for the sole reason that they will lose influence and we need the navy to be stronger now. Something I've also not engaged in at all is, yeah, factions are way more complicated now with this DLC. And to say 100% understand it yet might be a lie. You now have short, medium, and long-term goals. Our long-term goal is to align China. This might be more short-term in a second. Medium term is to control specific provinces. Doing that gives us army experience, so that is nice. Over here we get power projection, and over here we get faction research for your faction. And for that we just have to research technologies. Yeah, that's super cool. We need to expand China. Who can join our faction? Non-communist nations, countries in Asia, and the leader of the faction is basically the one with the most industry, which is us right now. We can do shared doctrines. I've done nothing here yet. Let's unlock this. Military shared doctrine. Faction theater. This feels... There's so much here. I'm actually confused. I need to look more into this. Oh, I see now what this means. This is like shared technology just for doctrines. If someone else is better than me in a doctrine I'm also doing, I get more bonuses to catch up. That is kind of cool. Manpower contribution to garrison. Oh, there's so many cool little things here that I had no time to look into yet, but I'm really looking forward to check that out in later games and see how much this helps. I think in multiplayer, this is going to be super cool. But yeah, for me now, let's get an artillery doctrine. I guess fire concentration. And funnily enough, it was cheaper, maybe because someone else had it. I should read this up more, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I also did some Air Force stuff, meaning we get better bonuses for that. I feel like I got a new toy and I can play with it and it feels great. I'm so sorry that I feel so unprepared, but I was like really catching up with videos. And this video has a deadline, but you can now see how a professional HOI4 YouTuber discovers new buttons to click live, to record it live. But yeah, these overruns here are amazing. And because there's some more supply hubs now, I think fighting as China is a lot harder now. Like no matter what China, because Japan feels super strong. And you're gonna chill now because I feel like I'm running out of equipment. But yeah, it was just fun so far. It was just overrunning. Then I would say with some reforms done over here, yeah, I would like to go down even further. But the real priority now is to consolidate what we have. And for that, I would like to go down and do this focus, which creates our own puppet China, allowing us to not garrison all of this, which is super useful. And then we can use this puppet China to just feed it all the Chinese land. And then we get with, like all the other puppets, 65% of the mills, which is quite a lot. Also got a cheeky push into here, and I might actually be able to use this. I do need some more supply. There's no railroad here, so cheekily building that. But I will use this to go to Wuhan and take it from the other side. And with that focus done, we get our own China, which is yellow, compared to the actually good-looking nationalist blue China. I like the blue, jokes aside. What we can also do is get a new short-term goal. I mean, declare war on democracy. I guess that fits. What we can also do now is... Oh yeah, we should definitely get this modifier. Here she go. And we can also feed all of the land to our new Chinese administration, meaning that they have cores on it and we don't need to occupy it. Right? So far, they only have a claim. We did a nice encirclement over here. That should make this push over here also a lot easier. Taking the last real supply up, stopping us from pushing in the region. Yeah, very beautiful. I also went further down the political path because I want the political power down here. And I think one big last push and they should fall apart. I might do another encirclement over here just to really get everything under control. But then I think we got this in the bag. Yeah, that's a nice encirclement. Let's go. And with that cleaned up and the current losses being, I mean, a lot better now. I still lost a lot of people, but to be fair, I also still have a lot of manpower. Let's get this done. Second World War has started in the background, showing how early in the game we are still. What we can also do, if we don't push, is launch an offense for temporary modifiers. And I might actually do this over here, because we're not missing a lot. We're just missing slightly enough to capitulate them, like 1 or 2 victory points. Oh, the airport over here would also be huge. And they're doing a last stand now. That shows that they're really screwed and they know it. And yeah, we're doing a lot of encirclements now. Even some Soviet units in here. Yeah, get screwed. Get out of China. And is that one? No, they're literally at 97. Oh my god, we might actually need to go. Oh, I should have done another compliance comment. On the other hand, they're gone now. So I just saw that this China did not gain cores. So what I'm about to do might be super bad. On the other hand, I want to know what they do do, so I will just feed them all the land in experiment to see if they actually can core it once the war is won. If this fails, I've suffered for you, and I just recommend to either do a compliance government, but just getting 80% compliance within nationalist China, or to get resource rights in a peace conference, which I can't get from my puppet. But I would like to play into the focuses the developers have created for us, therefore I'm gonna do it this way today. War won, and let's just pray they actually get force at some point, because this might be bad. I might have done something bad. Anyways, all my units, come home. We are now preparing for another war with another nation. And I do gotta say, late 1939, for me not knowing really what I'm doing with this focus tree yet, but still wanting to play into the functions of the focus tree and not just min-max it, I think that's good. I think 1939 is pretty good. What I will do now in the background, that is not in the focus tree, is create a collaboration government. We can also do this over here now, and it unlocks the tactic Grand Banzai charge. This doesn't feel like a good army, but I guess we can reform our army because we will still need it on the mainland. I do gotta say, this modifier in max makes it a pretty good modifier for world conquest. Justify wartime minus 20% is super nice. Why did I do the world conquest with Japan before this DLC? Also, this modifier is super good now. Basically, I did all of the decisions to upgrade my stuff, and yeah, they're pretty good now. I have some political power now, so I did it now. I forgot to employ logistics people. That would have been good. I should have gotten this dude ages ago. We also have the repair and support ship now. I'm gonna build a few of those just because I can. And yes, you see correctly, we have quite the deficit in steel. I just got this mission over here to have more aircraft carriers, and it's like 11 aircraft carriers, so I checked how many I have. 7. The game wants me to build 4 aircraft carriers in a year. I'm building 2, and that is... Okay, I'm not actually building them because my steel imports would go bonkers, and the steel in China would be a great help. The downside, I can't use it. The compliance government would have given me so much more. Anyways, let's get an industry modifier. And jokes aside, maybe let's build some civs. I would also say it's time to go down here, which also unlocks the Pearl Harbor strike on the United States as a raid. Also upgrade my Air Force to be ready for my aircraft carriers. And with that done, I will immediately go down over here for the free Indochina, which is hopefully still free. I don't know how good this is, but according to this, we will have 6 months of time to chill in the Pacific without interfering if we get this done. I highly doubt that, but I'm willing to test it out. Okay, I did notice a few states have been cored, so the Chinese do core this stuff after a while. So demanding Indochina now. I can either occupy or pressure Siam, and then we get the war goal over here. Okay, they gave me everything. Very beautiful. I'm just gonna be super cheeky and skip the part where I asked him to join and just to occupy all of Siam, because I need resources now. I do. The ones I get from here are nice, don't get me wrong. It is a start. It is not enough. It is a start though. So we got the war goal. Let's immediately go in before they can join any faction. I will also go down over here now to finally get the research slot. If the Sabatzos are at least influential, I get a nuclear research facility. They are meddling. Then I'm gonna spend 75 political power to get them to influential to get a free nuclear facility. Super nice. I also have way too much political power. Yeah, I kind of build a very greed build for political power just to notice I don't need political power. So I might actually switch out my silent workhorse for the Mitsubishi president. A lot of positive modifiers for industry. And yeah, that's that war over. I'm gonna yoink the navy, and I'm actually just gonna puppet them, ask for resource rights, get war reparations. I don't want to directly control it. That sounds awful. But this way, they should be more directly aligned to me. I don't need to call them into the war. And best of all, I get the resources for free, which includes a lot of rubber. So yeah, we definitely don't need to import rubber anymore. I will also be a bit greedy and go to medium tanks, because if we do have the tank doctrine, why not actually use it? Okay, we can't do this yet. Interesting. We need to have way more war support. We need to have more people in the army. Not a lot, but a bit. Or we need to be fascist. Plus, our navy needs to be influential, which I just, yeah, I screwed it up. So what I will do is do the non-way I'm supposed to do it and just justify in the US, which probably also allows me to do some more industrial focuses. Hello, US. I will also assign, finally, because this exists now, a good admiral to our naval HQ, and this naval HQ will give a buff to all the units in its reach, which is this reach. That is an interesting system that gives nice modifiers, and because I checked Pearl Harbor, I know they also have one. So this is actually nice now to get bonuses into the Pacific Ocean. So the first compliance government in the US is done. In the background, 2 of my spies got imprisoned, so time to get you out. I also prepared my coast defense, and I'm building way more troops. I also finished this focus over here, officially changing our ideology and unlocking a lot more interesting decisions. I might not be too interested in this for more recruitable population because of the factory output, but I am interested to go down over here for some other cool focuses. For now, we're doing this one, giving us, support. Yeah, we might have actually been able to go to war right now with everyone. I just screwed up some Navy stuff. That is on me. And yeah, I'm also planning something that you might be surprised by. What I also learned right now is the amount of naval invasions you can do at a time is also capped now. And I imagine we have to research this to get more. Yeah, right now we can do 2 naval invasions at the time, and this increases it up to 5. Plus, we can add more divisions per naval invasion. That is a cool change. I didn't know about that. That feels like there's gonna be less allied spam of naval invasions to a degree where it's ridiculous. We also have to war goal already, so I will go to war now. Let me just prepare my navy. So the navy is prepared. I have 3 different task forces. This is gonna be my punch navy, the big battleships with, still some stuff in it. I will station them over here. This will be followed by my spotting navy. And then last but not least is my annoying submarine navy, which will do exactly that. Have fun. My big strike force navy will do exactly that. And my spotting navy will do spotting. Plus maybe 1 or 2 will do convoy escort. There you go. I know there's been some navy rework. Yeah, I don't know how that works yet, so we'll see. I might just completely lose this, and that's the end of this playthrough, I guess. But yeah, I will wait until my naval invasion is prepared, and then I will be attacking the US, because my war goal is ready. And yeah, China definitely cores more and more land. How that works, no idea, but they're doing it. Very cool. So, the timer is basically up. I can't wait much longer, so I'm gonna go to war with the US. What that brings to me, we will see in a second. I would also like to use some of the airports here to get even more air dominance, and I hope that works. Also gonna build an expensive destroyer for getting rid of pesky US submarines. And yeah, with the navy endorsed, I will just rush down this over here to make Hirohito our emperor and gain a lot of cool modifiers, because that's the route I would love to go down. I want to go down the Eternal Empire, because the modifiers are super cool, plus it just sounds super sick, so we're gonna do that. Now we're sinking some convoys, so there's no real naval battle happening yet, and this is also about to happen, so let's see how that works out. The raid on Pearl Harbor. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very much scared. And success. I don't know what this does, but yeah, Honolulu gets damaged. The United States gets at the event an attack on Pearl Harbor, a day of infamy. They gain a lot of negative modifiers, and we still have our modifier to damage their navy. But yeah, overall speaking, we seem to be dominating them. So this might actually be worth it. Jokes aside, it's not too hard to prepare, and I don't regret doing it. We did finish our first Yamato super heavy battleship. Yeah, I gotta say, Pearl Harbor is not happening. That has become way harder, and I'm not familiar with the new naval system. It looks more realistic. I gotta say that. I have to play around with it more. But I also noticed that we have a new leader. Look at that. He's actually in charge now, and a new flag. I also noticed we get very much convoy raided right now. So let's do something against that. Yeah, I think the game is telling you now, don't go for the US at the beginning. Go for this land over here. I mean, it makes sense. I'm still too stubborn to agree, but it makes sense. So the question of the Greater East Asian Prosperity Sphere, I would say, you're supreme under the Emperor, right? There is no other way. You can also establish colonies now, quote unquote, or kingdoms. I would say we do that, giving me easily occupiable puppets. That is kind of nice. And yeah, now we're at war with the Allies. They also have that in that okay, it's good to know that the Allies are not actually a big threat. I would say we completely change our plan. We put the focus away from the Allies itself and actually go into what we should have done before, a grand assault against many nations. I think the only nation I want to call into this is the Kingdom of Siam itself. China and the Chinese puppets I would like to keep out of this, otherwise this is gonna be annoying. So I will make an offensive over here. I will prepare an offensive over here, and navy-wise I will dig a bit in and hold my ground. Okay, I gotta say I definitely recommend going for the islands at the beginning and following the historical path, because I've like no fuel right now and I can't use most of my navy. Even worse, I had not a lot of transport ships, so I can't import a lot. So what I decided to do now is to really hunt down the enemy submarines, and once that's cleared and the oceans have become a bit safer, really go for everything down here. I feel like I will go for this right now, just for the sole reason it's some free resources for me and they lose some, but long term we need fuel. We really do. Yeah, I do gotta say having the first few resources already again is a super nice feeling. I have some fuel. I can do a few things again. I think I've reduced reduced the US submarines by quite a bit. Yeah, they're 34. They went 80 before. I'm not really doing big Navy stuff, but yeah, these offenses here are just nice. And in a way, I'm disappointed it didn't work. In another way, I'm happy that for like a non-min-maxer like me, I feel like I'm quite the normal HOI4 player. I just like to do stupid stuff. I like that I can't just beeline rush to the US and that my Navy can't secure this with like big gaps in between. So I love learning the hard way and already feel how much the resources from here help. It is crazy. I'm still scared about actually fighting the US because I think I haven't done that yet, but this also feels quite nice to win in this way. I do need more infantry to guard everything, please. Well, I looked away, my naval invasion over here landed, so maybe I should use that momentum, meaning I also maybe start to get some naval dominance here, which is good to know. Yeah, the Philippines are capitulated. Just gotta be careful that I actually guard this correctly because of quite the reserve army just for guarding coast. Now let's see. Can establish a provincial government of Free India. Okay. And we can establish a Philippines Republic. I mean, that kind of fits what the Japanese did historically. They sparred up local nationalism to go against the Allies. Not saying that these governments were actually good or anything. And you gotta say, maybe autonomy does sound better than European colonialism, but I think this is more of a scenario where they're just no good guy. Yes, sir or madam, I would ask how these divisions have any supply. Anyways, Indian invasion is going actually pretty well. Plus, we are really destroying their convoys, which is kind of funny turnaround of events, because I have more than enough convoys now. Anyways, next naval invasion is out. I'm still working, by the way, with my 15 Viv units. I should definitely add some support companies. I always say I forget support companies, and it's not because I'm lying, it's because I always forget them. So yes, BMA said I did all of this without support companies, and BMA, so much submarines are in this one tile. What is going on here? In the background, I finished much of the industrialization focuses to really fix my spirit over here. What we're missing now is mostly aluminium, and then we can actually have the economic miracle modifier. I think for that we need to go to the main islands. And yeah, in the background we're just annihilating all of India. The only thing missing is like this thing here, and can we actually just destroy you? Because this is just a big encirclement. Yeah, thank you. Losses so far, I have 500,000. We did do quite a bit of oopsie whoopsies. On the other side, the US have lost more, and that's just the US. So the Allies overall have quite the losses. I will chill with this offense a little bit. I will reform my army. We don't have enough support equipment. Okay, how about we remove half of that and then we do this? Yep, we nearly have all of that. Great. That also tells me that I should put more into support equipment, which I will do now. Also cool, we can develop some industries in the Philippines for India. Need to change the conscription law. Oh, we need to increase it. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm still unlimited, so I guess we can go to extensive. And I can actually go to war economy now. I didn't do this before, not because I forgot. I know, rare Florius didn't forget. It's because I didn't have enough coal. I do have enough coal now. So coal is a big limiting factor now for your economy, that the bigger it gets, the more coal you consume. So it is like a generic power thing that can really bottleneck you. You know what, I will go a bit into a civilian economy because I might actually need that. And then I'm gonna build more mills in my puppets. But yeah, personally speaking, cool system. I thought it would be a bit more complicated, but it not being too complicated might be a blessing in disguise. And I should have done this thing way earlier for faster convoy building speed. In a way, I want to do everything else. That is actually a thing in this Focustree. I'm like in too much to click gridlock. Like there's so much buttons. I want to click all of them, but I can't, you know, because time is limiting. And that feels super hard as Japan because you have to go into the action super quick, but there's so much you can do and there's only so much time. You know what? I will actually expand my sphere of influence with all the puppets here because they have been a great help and they are a good source of economy. Also, having our own extraction law is really cool. Just don't think about it, okay? And would you look at that? New island conquered. Let's go to the next one. This one, because it has aluminium. And literally the only things I'm going for is like resources. So I can do the last focus down here and can have an economic miracle. And I do like that it says 200 in us or all our subjects. So our subjects count towards everything, which is good. That is actually super good. Which means I should have done another focus to speed this up that I kind of ignored because I thought I'm going to go for these islands anyways. This here. The Asian Cooperative Society gives him political power and unlocks decisions to befriend and invest into natural resources of Asian nations. Also down here we can prospect for resources in China and get a lot of resources in China. So that's two focuses I kinda ignored, but now later down the line I kinda regret not doing. I mean, I also regret that I should have rushed rushed for these islands and not tried for like a year to get to Pearl Harbor. I did win a year through a very fast Chinese conquest, but then I lost it all with not understanding how Navy works now. And I laughed that my last video had a Navy guide, and it's super outdated already. Florius finally does a naval guide the day after new DLC changes the Navy. Okay, I gotta say, invasions go pretty good at the moment. We're getting from island to island. India is also very much soon overrun, and on top of that, we're starting to get some naval dominance. I killed quite a bit of destroyers already too, and submarines are also becoming way less and less. We killed 3 with this one thing, and with a lot of my resource problems solved, I can build a lot of expensive ships now. It is pretty delicious. Even with new aircraft carriers, this is very good. Yeah, they have 9 submarines left. That is crazy. They have a lot of destroyers though, but yeah, I have the same amount of Navy as the US now. That is crazy. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I mean with getting the destroyers slowly. That is crazy. But to be fair, we need to win the naval war anyways, because if you want to form the Eternal Japanese Empire, we need those islands anyways, for which we need naval dominance. So yeah, good, we're winning. Still have no real idea how the system works, by the way, but I'm happy we're pushing. And yeah, in terms of this being a blind playthrough, you're starting to see what I mean now, I think, because I really only did the China war a bit, not really, because I had no real time for test runs. I'm actually sorry about this. It feels lazy, but it's also kind of a cool thing that I can share my direct thoughts about focuses when I do them the first time. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. What we're currently winning is resource war, because we could actually push through India into the Middle East, and then the Allies have no oil. On the other side, the Soviets are destroying Germany. I'm not a fan of that. Big question is, should I help? The answer is probably yes, meaning I should probably prepare a Soviet invasion army. Okay, yeah, we're pushing on the Russian Eastern Front. I don't know if that helps Germany or not. It feels like the front line has frozen over here. They are not in Berlin yet, which is a good sign to come. The problem is the Allies do be landing. On the other hand, I feel like I'm keeping the Allies really occupied. They have a lot of units here. So if I can't save Germany this way, no one can. At the same time, I'm not sure if I can fight them alone. I like my little distraction called Germany. But just in case, I'm already starting developing my plan B. Let's see if we need it. Probably. We probably will. But what we can also do right now is resource security, removing early industrialization efforts, and giving us the economic miracle. A really good modifier that we also really need now. Especially 15% dockyard output is crazy. Oh my god. I'm gonna look forward to that. In the background, I'm also investing into Asian nations and see what they think about that. I think I can slowly flip them towards my ideology, and that's how this is supposed to work. If that actually works, we will see. And there you go. My industry has grown a bit too much, and you're starting to see the negative effect of not having coal. The construction speed, the factory output, and the dockyard output is decreased, and it's only missing a little bit of coal. So yeah, I am kind of forced to import that at the moment, but to be fair, it is not too much. We have the convoys. We're a little bit trade intercepted, but to be fair, there's mostly new Russian submarines being a bit annoying. Once we hunt them down, this is gonna be a lot easier, and the Russians are about to lose all of the ports over here, so that's also good. Promise I'm fighting in the worst possible terrain. If that can save the Axis, yeah, I'm starting to doubt it, because the Netherlands thing is not getting pushed out. I'm surprised Italy's still around, though. That is crazy. Germany might be dying before Italy, but for us, it's going surprisingly well. Also, just notice this focus over here, which forces my puppets to give 15% of the resources to the Overlord. Yeah, let's do that. We also have an advisor that loses them autonomy. Yeah, this is super good. Then I don't need to import from them anymore. That is actually amazing. And they also finally got tank divisions over, so yeah, we're not building that. We actually have like tank divisions now in the battlefield. Better late than never, right? So India capitulated. There's a big thing out of the way. I just saw really bad news, and yeah, the Axis are cooked. This is not good. I might have the full force of the British in front of my door in a second, but until then, we fight. I gotta say, the encirclements over here are pretty nice. I'm not sure if I want to continue push though, because I'm losing a lot of men here. And I did notice we have decisions now to actually integrate our puppets, which is cool. I'm not sure how much sense this makes, but maybe for India, I should do it just for the manpower. And I keep falling apart with all of these random small nations here, so yeah, that might be double worth. But it's a beautiful encirclement. Losses right now, 2 million on my side. Yep, that was quite a long war. And 10 million on the allies. Oh yeah, the Axis are gone. We're about to have a lot of allies next to our door. That's why I'm doing all of these final pushes before it becomes horrendous to deal with. I do still feel like that Germany is surprisingly weak in the current patches, because they always die 1943, 1944, and I feel like I've been quite incompetent, Japan. Not even like draining resources from them. I've done a good job to keep the allies and even the Soviets now busy. They still just lost, so I'm kind of confused what I should have done different. And probably is nothing I really could have done different, to be fair. I mean, I could have attacked the Soviets very early on, but as I said, I wanted to play more historical. And I think that's the Axis dead, like for good, because there's a long peace conference with the AI. Yep. My big hope now, generally speaking, is that the allies and the Comintern go to war. I'm at war with both, yes, so they still have a common enemy, but it doesn't mean that what I just said wouldn't happen. Because in Europe, there is no other power, and the AI is a bit trigger happy. So India next. Okay, I think our navy is good, because it's the first big battle I mean, I missed it, but that looked good. I did just research the modern aircraft carrier. Never used it before. Looks sick. Let's build it. So that is secured for even more rubber. I don't even know what to do with the rubber anymore. I just know I got a button for controlling this island, and I would like to click it. I feel like I'm in the ultimate gridlock where no one can really hurt me, but it's also the other way around. I'm kind of strained by resources you might not expect with Japan. Steel. I don't have enough steel to produce everything I want, so my ships are very bottlenecked. But I have outmaneuvered most of the other navies. They have no submarines, so my convoys are just free roaming. I brought myself in a situation where I played historical Japan, made a few better decisions than them, but I'm still in a situation they have been before, with the difference that I've not lost the island warfare, and I'm also developing my own nuclear bomb. So, yeah. I might be also researching something else in the background, but let's talk about that when we get to it, okay? I have plans for the end game, okay? And it does not involve bombers to get missiles to my enemies. It involves something else. So yeah, welcome back to Japan, a preview video after my last preview video where I used super weapons to win the World War. Guess what we're doing today? I know, crazy, right? We got Macau. Yeah, I have CAS now. Makes a lot of this super easy. Don't ask why I say now. Don't, okay? There might have been a situation in the production queue where I replaced my CAS with nav, and now I have endless amounts of nav and no CAS, but it has been fixed if it would have ever happened, okay? Good. Back to this timeline. It is gonna be in Forever War. This is like a world conquest without the world conquest part. It's horrible. When I said I want to play historical Japan, that's not what I meant. I did just notice that the Soviet Union has a lot of war goals on the allies, but they're probably not doing it because I'm a big threat. Kinda sad. That is nice. Let's go to the next step of that. I would also say, let's finally remove the rivalry, or at least get rid of the negative modifier. Could help a lot, and I have nothing else to do anyways. Okay, completely unprepared offense against Pearl Harbor has started, and I'm starting to understand the Navy thing with the naval HQs and the headquarters, because I just conquered Guam, which I didn't held for too important, but there's a naval HQ here and a naval supply hub, which I think linked up to my other naval HQ over here. Maybe I should have also built a supply hub, and now I can use my navy all the way over here. Before that, it was only over here. So I more than doubled my range, meaning that you probably have to build them in proximity of each other to really grow and extend the naval supply. Or this over here didn't count because it only was an HQ and not a supply hub. I don't know. I'm just happy I can actually do some naval invasions, and if I actually could get Hawaii, which I don't think so because most of my troops are still on the way to here, that would be great, but I highly doubt it. That's a lot of American troops here. Okay, don't ask me how, but the most chaotic landing of them all did actually succeed. I'm gonna try now to push them out, and yeah, this time we actually got it. That is legitimately good, meaning I can actually do the Eternal Empire now. Super nice. We get really good stats in core territory. I hope it never comes to that. And we core a lot of land. Beautiful. Let's do that. What is going on here? Why does the European Union exist now? Why did it join the Warsaw Pact? Oh, what is going on here? That is stupid on so many levels. But yeah, the European Union exists now. And the European Union declared war on Great Britain. Let's go. World War III. World War III. World War III. Yes. I gotta say, God bless the European Union, for it has destroyed the unity between the Comintern and the Allies. And all I needed to do is to take over Pearl Harbor. I gotta honestly say, I have no idea who will win this. I just have no idea. And would you look at that? We are now the Empire of Great Japan. I don't know what makes us great, but we do get this modifier. That's what I know. And we also have researched this over here, allowing us to maybe renegotiate a few things quicker, especially now that World War III is here. This might help. I gotta say, respect to my Danish brothers here. They just decided to start their own Third World War, but not joining any side and becoming fascist again. I mean, they take some balls. I respect it. And funnily enough, they're not losing. They got Holstein back. Respect. Anyways, I'm pushing in Siberia now. That's my life. Plus, I learned the submarines I've been building. Yes, they can deploy missiles. No, No, not nuclear ones, so they're kind of useless. So I start Project Pakistan. Should not backfire at all when I deploy nuclear missiles in Pakistan to maybe strike some Soviet cities. And I might not have Cuba, but I do have Hawaii, so maybe they are in reach too. Because these don't go too far, but maybe they're just in range of something fun. And we got Mongolia to capitulate. Beautiful. Oh, I hate to see like Belgian Congo tanks here. That is horrible. But yeah, we are indeed pushing. And you know it's bad when the Soviet Union is on all adult surf and has less than 1 million manpower. What is going on? They must have lost so much then. Anyways, what's in range? Not Moscow, but Stalingrad. Hello, Stalingrad. Oh, and US, you are so close. You're avoiding big trouble just by a bit. But you might be surprised to hear that the game got really slow. And this might be day 2 of recording. Maybe. Anyways, I want to see the nuke go off, and there's like a 90% chance it goes in, so, please. Yep, work. Sending a little bit of a message to my Soviet enemies that we indeed found out better weapons than just sticks. First nuke in the game, by the way. 1949. Very late. So pushing the Soviet Union is going finally forward. I am rushing for supply hubs now, and not gonna lie, this works better than I hoped it would. Goodbye. Beautiful. I do gotta say I completely neglected this over here. Ministry of Colonial Affairs, which gives it the Oriental Development Company. And I gotta say the modifiers in here are pretty good. Yeah, I missed out on that. But to be fair, I got a lot of other important things. Anyways, keep on rushing supply hubs in Siberia. Yippee. Like the Russian Civil War just burst. We are nearly next to the Ural, which might sound very dreadful, but to be honest, now the easy part begins. The supply hubs are now like 5 provinces away from each other, which is way better than whatever it is over here, like 10 or something. I don't know. You have to push along this railway here, and it's super dreadful. I don't recommend. That is also some interesting research. Let's build this now. 1 a week sounds pretty quick. Starting from Hawaii. Oh yeah, they have quite a range. How about we send our personal peace proposal to Washington, D.C.? To be fair, they have a 10% survival chance, while we have a 100% chance to send a message. You're not gonna be like, oh, they missed, we're safe then. No, you're gonna be like, oh, they missed. So they're probably building another. And yes, I'm also doing the bigger boom research just in case. I am actually surprised that no one else sent missiles anywhere, but it seems to be that I'm the only one that really uses nukes. I'm not gonna say I'm the only one who has nukes. I'm the only one who uses them. Because I can. Yeah, I think that worked. I guess goodbye Washington DC, at least for a while. And yes, we can also nuke Paris. I know some of you already want me to. We're doing it. There you go. With love and hearts from Pakistan, okay? I do feel like at this point, the Japanese would just win the war. Because everyone else would just capitulate. Oh, I love the animation of the intercontinental ballistic missile. It's really cool. Oh, and even throws off the stages. I never saw that. That is actually cool. By the way, goodbye Dallas. I don't want them to have fuel, okay? Goodbye Paris. Yep. That's Paris gone. You know what's next, right? The city lights burned out. That is some good writing there. You look at a missile, you do actually see the different stages from what I told before. And I've never seen this before. That they actually detach and fly away. That is cool. And where you think this one is going? It's going to Nashville. I don't want them to have any steel. Goodbye steel production. I'm doing strategic strikes with nukes. Yep, goodbye London. Oh, new toy unlocked. I will also say it's time to integrate China. I did also just notice, I think I nuked the Soviets so many times that they are really soon capitulating. I mostly just have these provinces here. And yes, the allies did push over here, but they got pushed back. What I did do is nuke Moscow like twice and Leningrad and Stalingrad in between, so that could have helped. Yup, that's the Soviets capitulating. Best of all, it's to me. Downside is I have to organize this mess now. I really don't know how. Yeah, I think the allies are a bit scared now. Not that green yet because my army is not consolidated yet, but I can build way more. I can outproduce them. The only thing I have now, funnily enough, bottlenecked is coal. I have a real coal problem. Okay, some time has passed. I've very much consolidated a lot of land. From my side here, I just have no ways to get more coal from anywhere. Same with steel. Funnily enough, I never have fuel problems at the moment, so that's beautiful for over here. What I can also do right now is I can go back to extensive conscription, and yes, I went all the way down to civilian economy. I still have coal problems. Just imagine how bad the modifiers were were before and how they're looking now. Coal in a late game can really cripple you because I'm just not catching up with anything anymore. Nice pocket over here. I do love the feeling that I have endless manpower and they're running out very soon, meaning I can just endless wave attacks no matter the equipment and I will win. Okay, that's a very big pocket and it might not look like it, but there is a common turn pocket here, or maybe I should call him Warsaw Pack. To be fair, they still control Warsaw, but that's it. On the other hand, my push to secure this region is going very well. I'm also annihilating all of the submarines over here now because the convoy raided me a lot, but with my local navy, I have this under control. Finally can use my modern battleship and modern aircraft carriers, which also reminded me that I had no fighters for the longest time. So I'm building a lot of those now. I do need them. Yeah, my navy is going a bit ham over here. They're out for blood. But I gotta say, the modern aircraft carrier looks super sick. I think we're about to have a peace treaty, and I think it will be horrible because the allies will get land that I'm currently occupying. But yeah, welcome to the peace talks. Okay, let's see how it looks like now. I did get a lot. Oh my god, this is annoying. The good news is we can do this now. I don't know if I want to though, because there will be in a war and I will lose a lot of my resources. You know what? I will say no because I get the coal right now and we can always say yes later. Okay, I have a plan to get rid of the Air Force for good. Experimented a bit with France and nuking those facilities over here brought them from like 150k to half of the Air Force, meaning they can lose a lot with nuclear strikes. Just wanted to make sure this still works in this DLC. I think it's gonna stop the Air Force in one big go. Basically a strike area airport at the same time. Some of them missed, they're lucky. But yeah, it's definitely a way to get air dominance. Let's use that opportunity. I can tell you late game encirclements are a bit bonkers. Hello and welcome to day 5 of this recording. Yeah, 1954. It's the year 1954. And if you ask yourself, Florius, that is awfully slow. Shouldn't you just dominate? Yes. Yes, I should. I have the industry and I'm not building anything for the last 4 years now. So I could have like 2,000 mils or something. My main problem is that coal is broken right now. As I said, hopefully said that, this is an early version. I thought it was just me. I thought I did something wrong. No, I'm not the only YouTuber who noticed that. And I can see unofficial sources confirm that there will be a coal rebalancing and some other technologies may be introduced. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's not official, so I'm not saying too much. Which means that I probably can't win right now. I mean, I could, but it would be another 20 years. And this is a sponsored video and I need to get it ready. And I've already spent 5 days recording it. So yeah, just to show you my problem, 2,500 coal in minus and I produce not even 2,000. And this scales so badly for me that this looks fine, right? I have all the resources. No, minus 66% production efficiency because of lack of power. I'm building everything super slow, meaning even though I nuke all the airports all the time and the allies have no manpower and the industry is majorly nuked, especially the US. I sent back to a Stone Age. Oh my god. The naval dockyards. I've nuked the US so much you wouldn't believe. It is crazy. Just so you understand, I'm literally on civilian economy right now. Yeah, didn't help. So I sadly have to say I have to end it here. A strat that will work better in the future will be civilian nuclear reactors, which apparently, and that is from secure sources, reduce your energy usage in the province by 25%, and that might even get buffed, which of course means that factories use less coal. So these might be super good in the future. I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. This was amazing. Around until I had to fight the Soviet Union, which I also defeated. I want to say I defeated the Comintern from the Siberian side, okay? And navy-wise, I'm also dominating. I understand the system better now. I even have a naval garrison in the Mediterranean here. So no matter where I go, I tend to just defeat the allies. It is literally just the Air Force, which outscales me in production. So yeah, thank you Paradox for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Stuff like this helps a lot. And let's be honest, I would have done this video anyways and I just get paid for it, which is, you know, I'll take it. If you liked what you saw and want to get the DLC for yourself, click my link below and use my code. It does help a lot. Division-wise, I used this is infantry, this is tanks, and this is MP. Horse. To my supporters and everyone else watching the channel, I appreciate it a lot. You guys make my day and my living. Mostly my living. I see you all next time. Until then, bye.